Now let's talk about the big question. This is the question that I know people are probably going to get ready to talk about it, and I know this is the question that will be jumping the gun, but we need to go ahead and just address it so we can just have it on record for us. Based on Konami coming out with several titles like the Silent Hill franchise and the HD version of Suikoden 1 and 2, do we see hope for some of their catalogs of their franchise coming back, like Castlevania and Metal Gear Solid series, which they did announce are coming back? Basically, is Konami trying to return to the world of gaming, or just testing the waters and will dip out if this project doesn't work out? I ask you this question first, Mr. Duran.
Oh, Lordy. All right. So Suikoden 1 and 2, that's a gimme. I'm glad they're finally doing it. But with going back to Castlevania and Metal Gear, and I wish they would go back to basics with Contra, I think they are going to try and put their best foot forward, because they're getting slaughtered, so to speak. They have nothing but their pachinko business to rely on. That, and I think maybe they're because they own Hudson Soft and some other properties.
Bomberman's the only thing that comes out of that place.
Yeah, that's the only thing that comes to mind. I think they also own Taito, but
no, Square owns Taito.
Square does. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. But needless to say, Konami has a huge catalog that they could dig into. I mean, their shooters alone, much less, Castlevania and Metal Gear. The question is, how are you going to revisit these worlds without the original, directors, Kojima or who was it?
It's not Igarashi. Is it Igarashi?
Is it Igarashi?
See, I get him confused. Igarashi sounds more of the Ninja Gaidens to me. That's why I'm confused.
That's Itagaki.
Okay, and then it's Castlevania.
Yeah. Koji Igarashi was the producer for the notable Castlevania games.
Yeah.
So I think they've already seen that there is an interest in Castlevania, because the Netflix series, the fact that they're coming out with another Castlevania series moving forward with Richter, Richter Belmont. So they already see there's interest there. There's going to be interest in Metal Gear. I mean, clearly. That's not the question. The real question is, how do I feel about their execution?
Okay.
They're trying to return to the world of gaming. I mean, they're trying to return to the world of active new release gaming. I don't think they're too squeamish about failure just yet. Silent Hill is going to be the acid test. I think they know they're going to have a good seller with Silent Hill 2 Remake. The rest of them are question marks. So I don't think they're going to dip out. I think they're going to. That's why they're going with safe franchises, Castlevania and Metal Gear.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they're going to throw their money onto.
So I'm hoping that we do see back. I hope that Castlevania and Metal Gear get the same treatment as Silent Hill. Of hopefully we're getting multiple Castlevania games that are going to be made, classic and old, and not all of them go to the phone like the couple of last ones.
Yeah. Maybe some Switch exclusive Castlevania games.
Yeah. I'm hoping that we get some new, fresh Castlevania games to fall in the timeline. I hope that we get some, best of both worlds. We get a new 3D one and then some fresh 2D ones, but just fresh for what it is. I'm hopeful.
I predict we get the 2D ones for the Switch, and we get the 3D big budget ones.
That'd be wonderful, because 2Ds for Nintendo, they work together so well, as we've seen records show. But then again, I don't really care as long as we get a 2D. I hope we just get best of both worlds. And like I said, the last couple 2D games were on phones, which is I wasn't a big fan of that. And they never got ported to Switch, because most shovelware games get ported to Switch. But
nobody got time for that.
Right. But we don't know what's happening, but I hope that they get the same treatment of multiple titles. I hope, just like Silent Hill, it felt like it was a celebration the way they did it. We got plenty of Silent Hill. I hope we get the same celebration for Castlevania and Metal Gear. And especially, there was talk Metal Gear Solid 3 was going to get the first remake of it. Was going to get a remake. But we don't know if we're going to get a reboot of a whole series. I feel like that story is done. I feel like, 4 ended it, and then 5 kind of talked about the story before with Big Boss and
Yeah.
kind of leading that. The question is like, do I feel like that maybe they should start fresh with a new one? And I think they should. I mean, that's Kojima's whole thing. And
That's his baby.
yeah, so trying to add on to that or trying to recapture that, I feel like is dumb. And I'm not dumb. I feel like it's not the best idea. And I know gamers out there are afraid of a franchise that two big namers have left to do their own thing, them bringing it back in a different way. But I think they have to. I think Metal Gear has to go a new direction. And I think they have to do a new idea with new cast of characters and a new bizarre story and give these new developers a chance to have their own vision instead of playing off Kojima's vision.
Yeah.
You know,
it is a must.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be compared to Kojima's stuff no matter what.
Yeah, but at least like if you're going to compare it, at least it can be your own thing, not so much of, well, let's do another one and make this character also Snake, also with Spring Raiden back in a new way. No, let's do something fresh, brand new thoughts.
Yeah.
You can use the same map as Metal Gear. Like, I'm pretty sure people wouldn't mind if we still get the Phantom Pain play style again, but just a new Metal Gear and a new story. Just don't let it be Survivors. But you know what I mean.
Go the Revengeance route.
Sure.
That was fun. That was fun as hell.
You can get Platinum back into it. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, assuming Platinum even wants to mess with gamers.
Yeah.
This stuff would put me off of messing with gamers.
Yeah, but I don't care. But I feel like that's the same way. And that's the same thing with Castlevania. Like, let's get a brand new story and a new arc for these. I think that's what we need. And as gamers, we're afraid of going into a new direction because they feel like, oh, this is never going to work out, and we're not going to continue it. But if we give them a chance, maybe there's something there. Now, I know Castlevania is a little bit different because Castlevania is like Metroid. I mean, it's a history. You could make up any story and put it in there somewhere and make it work. I mean, they've been doing it for years. So you could do another story before the first Castlevania game. You could do something in the middle of Castlevania, and it will still be fine.
You can reboot it again.
Yeah. So I have hope that for these titles, and if they do well, then we'll see. And then for all the other ones in their library, just give it a little bit of care, a small tidbit. Like, Contra has not got the best love the last couple of titles that they have. It's time for Contra to get some respect back. Like, let's get a brand new 2D Contra with some love, and then let it do its thing. You know, we don't need a plethora of Contra games. We need one good one to get people happy.
Hey, I got my Contra anniversary collection.
Yep.
And I got Contra 4 on the DS. I'm good.
And that's the same thing with the snuff games like Gradius. We just need another good one in there. And so I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful for Konami because we're seeing this love for Silent Hill through the eyes. I could be wearing the wrong glasses for this. Maybe it's just all in my mind, but I want to believe. That Silent Hill, which is the most complicated one, I think, out of those three big ones to do, showing that they could do this. I have faith that Castlevania and Metal Gear could be well if they take the idea of just giving it a new fresh take and a new direction, and us gamers just letting them try it and see what happens. Let's give it a chance and not compare it to Kojima's, because then you're never going to be satisfied, right? You're never going to move on from this. Survivors doesn't count to me. I think that was an afterthought and bullshit off of Kojima's shit.
Metal Gear Survive doesn't count to anyone, apparently.
Yeah, it's playing off Kojima's stuff. I want fresh, whereas like Kojima did not come up with this idea. He didn't do any of this. We're using his platform, but we're making our own story with it.
They could actually take it in a whole different direction. It could be the same universe. Maybe it's further down the line. Metal Gear. They could make it an anthology. Sure. Konami could bring back. I'd like to see Konami bring back Snatcher or redo Snatcher.
Snatcher deserves some love.
Goemon. Do a Goemon collection. Gauge interest.
Dude, Goemon deserves to come back. I know that is it got trapped in the 90s and never made it past the 2000s.
Yeah.
It needs to come back in a new way.
Rocket Knight Adventures.
Yeah.
You telling me folks wouldn't love to play an updated Rocket Knight Adventures?
Yeah, and the last Rocket Knight was on the 360 back on their So
was it a remake or
it was after. It was an add-on. It was a continuation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was not a remake.
But yeah, Konami, and I say this every time Konami's brought up, my mind immediately goes back to that Telltale intro screen on Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. That
I miss that logo.
And you knew you were going to play a fun game. Mm-hmm. Either a really hard game or a really hard and fun game. And that's what people want again. They just want that again.
Yeah.
Or for young folks, they want to experience it for the first time.
And don't stop the collections. People are liking the collections.
Yeah.
Keep the collections coming.
We don't want all these great games trapped on old platforms.